Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Axelbank. Today is Tuesday, March 25th, and you're now watching Open, a program that brings the Bronx and New York City straight to you. Don't forget to stay connected with us via social media at BronxNet TV. Well, award-winning Afro-Latina children's author, illustrator, and Bronx native Yesenia Moises is leading the charge in reshaping children's literature with her empowering stories. With a deep commitment to representation and inclusion, Yesenia's work is not just creating books, it's inspiring the next generation of young readers to embrace their identities, their creativity, and their limitless potential. Yesenia joins us now. Thank you for being with us, Yesenia. Nice to have you with us.
Thank you so much for having me. Good morning.
Good morning. And let's just talk about you as an author. What made you say, hey, I think I want to do this and write children's books?
Well, a big part of it was having grown up as a sheltered kid, honestly. Um, I had spent a lot of time creating stories of my own after being a really big nerd. I loved watching cartoons and anime, and I wanted to make things that I wasn't really seeing on TV or I wasn't really seeing in the books that I was reading. And so I realized that, maybe this writing thing, there's a little more to it. It was really fun to create worlds of my own, characters going on their own adventures, and people that honestly looked like me.
You know, the whole idea, I mean, you passed over it very quickly, and that's the idea of you being a sheltered child. But I'm guessing, and you tell me if I'm wrong, that that whole concept made you even want to be more aggressive about telling the stories and telling positive things, that it turned your mind into doing positive work like that and helping other children understand how the world really is and how they can do better.
Yeah, yeah, honestly. I spent a lot of time in my room, kind of seeing the world around me. My parents, they were immigrants who really wanted the best for me, but also realized that living in the Bronx, other people might not. Um, so I spent a lot of time um, exploring like different worlds through my art, through my words written on a page. And I think that having been that sheltered kid um, really helped me think a little more outside of the box in ways that I think a lot of the children now may not, because so much is, being seen on social media where they're very concerned about, how they appear, even like at young ages.
Sure.
And
You,
so,
you know, they sat in front of computers for 2 years, and
yes.
that doesn't help children see what the world is. Now, listen, you're being very modest. Your work has been featured on BuzzFeed, Sci-Fi, NBC News, the pages of publishers like DC and Image. So let's be thrilled and celebrate how far you have traveled. Let's talk about Sound of Joy in that context of all that other stuff. You were the illustrator for the Adventures of the Kwai Kwai series was the famous Serena Williams. You've done all that stuff. Where does Sound of Joy fit into this spectrum?
Okay, so my book is called Sounds Like Joy.
There it is.
Yes.
Sounds like joy. Okay.
So it is a underwater musical that celebrates the magic of music and the power that it has to bring us together. Um, it is a fun read aloud experience, I would say, meant to really showcase how fun sounds and music can be and how they make us feel. Because right now, I worry that a lot of the children that are coming up are being taught that joy is something that might not be for them, especially in the current climate that we have with so many of the DEI rollbacks.
Well, I really am sensitive to it in a positive way. about the notion of music and the borough of the Bronx in particular, because music is, in my mind, has been the underpinnings of just about all of the cultures in the Bronx, and all of, we of course invented half of the music that the world is enjoying right now. Let's be honest about that. So I really appreciate the idea that you want to use that as a way to help kids learn their identity, learn to grow, et cetera, et cetera. Just out of curiosity, did you have a musical background of any sort, or you've just perceived that this is the way to do it?
Um, well, I don't have a musical background. I've always loved music. I've been an audiophile for most of my life. I enjoy creating playlists and things for friends that are very themed around where they are in life. So it's just something that I've had a deep admiration for and wanted to find a way to put on a page, both in words and visually.
Um, the whole notion of sharing and of helping children develop, you deserve a lot of credit for that, especially given your own background. I understand, a little bird told me that you're also a toy designer. Um,
Yes.
and let's see, they inspire and reflect diversity and inclusivity, words that some people are not real thrilled about in this day and age. Talk a little bit about the whole idea of designing toys and what you design and what you think is useful for children that helps them grow and understand the world.
Well, when it comes to designing toys, I think toys are honestly one of the very first things that a child sees as their introduction to like storytelling or imagination or creativity, diversity. Um, it is, oh, sorry, I would like to rephrase
Go
that.
ahead.
Yes. So toys are usually the very first introduction that a child has to the world around them in regards to storytelling or creativity. It is the very first thing that they see, that they can interact with, that really takes their mind somewhere. And so, with a lot of my work, I try to make sure that I am creating worlds and places for them to go where they can really see themselves. Because a lot of times it's hard for people who look much like myself, who or people who were raised in the Bronx or even other communities that are similar. They have a difficult time seeing themselves in media portrayals and even in books. And so, with the work that I'm doing, I try to make sure that even at the very start of their journey into this world, they can see them.
They can see themselves. I think it's just wonderful. And as a grandfather, I know with my granddaughter, I could show her all the movies and things that I'm interested in, all the things that I want to teach her. But if I give her something that she can use, that she can touch, that she can enjoy, all of a sudden it opens up that world and it opens up the lines of communication. So I totally appreciate what you said. Talk to me about the Adventures of Quai Quai by Serena Williams and what your role was in that project.
So, The Adventures of Quay Quay, it's a story that is based around Quay Quay, a social media superstar, I'd call her, who's this baby doll that comes to life. And so the story there has her coming to life to help our protagonist called Baby Girl, who's having a bit of trouble with her confidence as she prepares for a big recital. And so it's a story that was written by Serena Williams to really help kids find themselves.
And so it's clear that you found a symbiotic relationship with what her agenda is as well. She, of course, is internationally well known, but there's something very comforting about somebody that famous and that well known, kind of involved in the same agenda that you are, right? I mean, there's something really cool about that. That what you're thinking about is a lot larger than just you and me here on Open.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would say so. I would say so. And something that really drives my work is just knowing that the books that I write, the art that I create, it's inspiring someone out there, someone who might be seeing themselves in circumstances where they may be encouraged to think a little more realistically about life. And while that is important, I think it's also important for young people, children especially, to see themselves doing all sorts of amazing things, going on all sorts of amazing, fun adventures. Because when they don't, their worldview is really limited.
Yes.
It's
I just don't want to run out of time, and their opportunities are limited. Could you hold up the book again,
sure,
right?
sure thing.
And maybe even flip a page so people could see. Sounds
It
like
sounds
joy.
like
There you
right.
go. Now you can see what it looks like. And how can people? There you go. And how can people get a copy of it, and where can they find it? And we certainly want everybody to ingest it as best as possible.
So Sounds Like Joy is not quite out yet. It'll be
Aha.
available on May 6th at all major retailers as well as everywhere that books are sold. If you can, consider supporting your local bookstore. Right now, especially, it's been challenging for a lot of them given the prevalence of um, online options that are a bit speedy in their shipping. But I think that bookstores are truly a pillar of the community and we need to support them.
Well, you've got a fan here, and not only in your work, but at the Lit Bar. Let's get down to the South Bronx and see the Lit Bar, which is really one of the most wonderful places in the Bronx, but really at the moment our only bookstore. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you, Yesenia, and we'll look for Sounds of Joy, and that's how we'll live our lives, with Sounds of Joy. We appreciate your time this morning.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
All right. To learn more about Yesenia's work, please visit her website. That's on the screen below. So don't go away. We'll be back with more Open right after this.